So now I'm going to try gluing the legs into the pants. So I'm mixing up some resin, well, epoxy glue, and this is going to stink pretty bad. So be glad that you can't smell this. Take and drop it around in there. Get some around on this side. Okay. Stick these in here. Is that right? I think so. Make sure I don't have anything squeeging out. That would not be ideal. Okay, so let that set for a bit. I could try to take this thing and glue on here while I've got active glue. Yeah, that feels like it could hold. Just put some on this peg here. I'll stick some. Not as worried about this stuff because it's clear going on a clear. Maybe for that section I'll just hit the middle foot thing here. And the back one here. And we'll see if we can get this to slip in here. Find the hole. It's not going in as well as I had hoped. Okay, just do a quick update. So I noticed on these arms that I didn't realize that this was supposed to be flesh color back here, so I went ahead and put some gloss on that and hit it with some flesh tone, and then hit it with some more gloss before I did all of this, because I was afraid that this would happen. I don't know how well you can see it, but there's some dark spots on there. And the hope with the gloss was that I'd be able to just take one of these things here and scrub that off. Well, a couple of things happened. I used Humbrol's Maskall, and there were places where when I put the mask on, when it dried, it left gaps. So there were some places like right around here that you can maybe see all this discolorization where it was just paint went straight on. And then you can see the mask job that got done here. We got some puddling around here, so we didn't get the purple on right there. We got some mask all, I'm presuming, that I couldn't quite get off. It did not want to come off. And so yeah, there's going to have to be a lot of cleanup. I'm probably going to scrub these a little bit more, even get down a little bit more to the white, and then respray the flesh on and just mask this other part. The other thing that happened was in these, I don't know, cuffs, I'll call them, underneath I put in the maskall, and a lot of it I could not get back out. So it's going to have to be carefully touched up. So there's going to be a lot of touch up on these. I also tried working on the bodice and skirt thingies. So the idea is that these are going to be more of a purple, kind of like I did on that bow. So if we look at the guide here, these back here are a little bit darker, and they're about like the color of what this belt's going to be. So I'm going to mask everything else off and then hit them with another coat of the, I think it's Emperor's Purple. But you can see I'm going to have to do a lot of touch-up because it was really hard to mask all of these shapes with all these different layers and angles intersecting and things like that. So I would say it would have been nice on this kit if like these had been like different attachments that you plugged into the back maybe. That would have made a huge difference, because I'm going to have to do a lot of touch-up. And even so, it's surprising the number of places, like I don't know if you can see that here, but this area right here just did not get hit because it was really hard to get an angle on that with the airbrush, especially with this part being masked. So, and I don't know, I mean, a lot of this I may just go in and brush paint because there's a lot. I mean, this is a color, this is a different color, this is a different color, this is a different color, this little thing right here is a different color. So, and of course the bells and the bows are all going to be different colors. And I am really leaning heavily towards not doing this stuff because I think I would have to freehand it. And I don't think that's going to happen. I will go in and line this stuff. It looks like you got some kind of a turquoisey color, kind of like this on these parts, but they're raised on these arm parts, so that'll be doable. And then these look like they've got more of that deep velvet purple color, so yeah, we'll see how that all goes. So that's those. I have been working a little bit more on the head. So you saw I did the face painting, and so what I did for this one, instead of bothering with the maskall, I just went in with like the blue stuff, poster tack type stuff, and I smushed it in around, and then I used this really big kind of cocktail poker. I don't know what you would use this for, but I just went in and kind of smushed and rolled around. I still had a lot of areas that got masked, and so I ended up with some white that I had to go back and touch up. So that's not completely unexpected. I kind of figured that that would happen. But so now what I'm planning to do is, oh, it looks like I need to change my water out. But I'm going to mask off the hair, and I'm going to hit this hair ribbon up here with a that's not going to work because I varnished it. I might be stuck with that. Anyway, so I'm going to mask off the hair, and then I'm going to hit the hair ribbon with probably a dark blue that I can then hit with the purple, and I might put a iridescent coat on that just to give it a little bit more of a different texture than some of the other cloth materials. I'm going to have to go in and probably hand paint these little hair decorations and this decoration on the bow. I'm probably not going to bother with trying to mask that off separately and paint it. I could, I guess, I did inadvertently, there's a couple little, well, I don't see them anymore. There was a little pokey thing coming out on the other side here that broke off when I was trying to mask that. So that sometimes happens. It's a thing. So anyway, that's the next step. Mask this off, hit that with some spray paint, and let that dry just long enough to remove the masking, and then hit it with another varnish coat. Okay, so I think this is ready to go now. I did have a change of heart, and I decided to use the frog tape all over. The thing I don't like about that is it is low tack, so it doesn't peel up the paint, but it doesn't even really want to stick to itself very good. I may just take one long strip and wrap it around just to hold this in, but for the amount of time this is going to be in use, I don't know that that's going to be an issue. I might just tack a little bit over this part right there. It looks like it could be a gap. So anyway, yeah, I'm going to go paint this now, but yeah, that's what I did, and I just jammed some of the blue tack into the crevices that were a little hard to get to, like under this thing, and yeah, I think we're good to go. Okay, so we'll see how we did. So this is Tamiya Royal Blue, which is a very kind of metallic-y blue. There's some of it still kind of left on some of the edges. Really nice dark blue, and I just hit that with Vallejo Game Air Emperor Purple, I think it is. So just a very light coat. I just wanted to give it some variation in texture. I don't care that it's not uniform. I kind of wanted it to have a little bit of like a iridescent quality to it. So let's peel this stuff off and see what we ended up with. It's so funny, this tape does not want to stick to anything, but then when you go to try to take it off, it fights you tooth and nail. So trying to start with outer layers as much as possible. Just because of the potential for gaps, I did kind of over-engineer this just a wee bit. I also did ultimately decide to go ahead and mask off that little emblem on her hair bow, just to make life a little bit easier down the road. And so far I'm not seeing a whole lot of overspray. A little bit, but not too bad. If you're not familiar with the blue tack, it's not a big deal if you get paint and stuff on it, because once you get it in a ball, like this was earlier covered, and you can see little bits of paint and stuff in here, but if you just kind of pull it apart and squish it back together and pull it apart again, I don't think it like actually removes it from there, but it breaks it all up into very small parts. I think eventually this would degrade the blue tack, but you can use this stuff for a long, long time. So let's see here. I'll just see what I can clean up with this. Try to get these things off of the front carefully. It's often just a matter of trying to coax it a little bit more and more, and then you can take this and just kind of, not enough to take off paint or anything, but just kind of graze sideways a little bit, and it'll usually pick up any like little bits that are left behind. Okay, so I am going to have to do a little bit of touch up with the blue right there and right there and under there, and a little bit with hair color right there and right there. So that's not too bad all in all things considered. So I'll hurry and hit that right now because I'm impatient. Actually, I guess what I ought to try is see if I can erase any of this. Well, either the paint I put down or the eraser is working pretty good, so let's see what I can do on this front little part right here. See if this will pick up. Probably need to clean out my water. Oh, that looks a little better. So I cleaned out my water and I went and got the Tamiya Royal Blue just to do some touch up here. Just a little bit's going to be needed. Then I'm going to give this a gloss coat, let it set probably overnight, and then I may brush on be careful here. I may brush on some iridescent, just some clear iridescent, just to give it, the fabric, a little bit of a different texture than some of the other stuff she's wearing. Not surprisingly, where that was masked off, that didn't get hit at all. So the mask did what it was supposed to do because of where I put it. Yeah, I don't know how you can see that, but this is a very metallic blue. Let me see if I can put it on something here you can see. Well, this would show up better if it was white. This is a failed portion of this print, but yeah, it's kind of a nice, slightly metallic-y blue, just all by itself. So I'll leave that there, and maybe the shine will go away and you'll be able to see a little bit better. Just a little bit there. So there, I'm just trying to be very smooth when I'm putting this down most of the time. Sometimes if it's like a small area, I'm just kind of stippling it. But if it's a long strip that got missed, I'm trying to be smooth because that's going to show up a bit less, I think, than, like, even if I get it on the hair, it's not going to be too bad as long as I'm consistent with my line. Let's see, like here, there's just a little dot that I need to hit because it just stands out a little too much. It looks like I did get just a little bit of overspray on the hair underneath, so it's kind of in the shadow, so you may not notice it very much. I just want to even all this out. You probably won't even be able to see it on the camera. Just trying to clean it up just a little bit. See if I can soak up some of this blue here. And put some of this hair color in. So I will leave this to dry for a bit, and then I'll come back and hit it with the gloss varnish, but I think that's looking pretty okay compared to the original here. And it looks like that's more of a silver thing in her hair, so I don't know. For some reason I look at that and I would think that's going to be gold, but apparently it's silver, so we'll go with that, I think. She's got brass bells, and I thought the back, the part on her bow, a ribbon on her back is gold as well. So at least I'll get some gold in, but we're getting close to finishing up the head, which is, except for something with as many surfaces and shapes going on as this, the head is normally, for me, like the most terrifying part. And again, it would have helped if the hair was a separate piece, if the ribbon on the top was a separate piece, so that I could just put those in the spray booth and hit them separately. But it's a fun model, it's nice, I think it'll look okay.